Hi, my name is Jamie Lynch, and you are listening to Eating Habits, my podcast about everything restaurants. I will explore the human element of the hospitality business, and I'll talk to the who's who in restaurants, explore their stories, and hear what's on their minds in the ever-changing landscape of the food and beverage industry.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Carroll, and we are here for Eating Habits.
Hey there, listeners. Jamie here. In this week's episode, I catch up with Jennifer Carroll from Top Chef All-Stars. The takeaway I got from this episode with Jen is how she combined her passion for community, food, and teaching, smashed that all together to stay connected with her base, her fans, during the pandemic. And it's turned into a pretty decent business for her. I really admire how she put this together and everything that she's done, and I had a blast talking to her. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, Jen.
What's going on, Jamie? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
You are my second Top Chef All-Star that I got to interview on my thing.
Nice. I love it.
Cool. Thanks for taking time to do it. We are on SV Blue Healer.
Oh, right. I didn't know the name.
Yep.
Blue Healer.
Yep, the Love Boat. This is my little 81 Bristol 40 in Charleston Harbor.
Okay.
You are here in town for the Charleston Wine and Food Festival.
Yep.
What do you got going on for that?
So I'm doing a dinner with one of my old sous chefs who is now a great chef on his own. His name is Kevin Getschwitz, and he's over at King's Tide Restaurant, and we're doing a collaboration dinner tonight.
Cool. Right on. You're going to prop him up a little bit and give him some...
I was there at King's Tide yesterday, and we were there prepping. His kitchen is amazing and beautiful. The space is over on Daniel Island.
Yeah.
It has amazing views, but what's even better is the food.
Yeah.
And listen, I come from seafood, from Eric Repair.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin worked with me at 10 Arts at Eric Repair, and now he is over at Kingside, and they have these seafood towers. They have lobster, swordfish, shrimp. We ate so much food last night. It's so good, and if you're in Charleston, you have to go there.
Can you get me a reservation?
I can get you a reservation.
Awesome.
Yeah, they are cranking over there. They're cranking.
Pretty new, right? They opened maybe a year ago?
Yeah. March of last year, so 2021.
Awesome. And business is going good over there?
Oh my God, they're crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's not a whole lot of options, I don't think, on Daniel Island.
There's not, and they had
the space is beautiful. I was scrolling through some stuff yesterday, seeing what you were up to in town.
Right.
And the restaurant looks gorgeous. It almost looks like a Carolina coastal cottage.
It is
type situation.
I mean, the colors are beautiful. The space, it's open, it's airy. There's a coffee shop next door with smoothies and food. There's a whole little patio, but it's on. You have a boardwalk down to the yacht and the marina. It's just gorgeous. You have to go over there.
Yeah, I will for sure. That sounds right up my alley. And I'm sure anybody coming from the Bernardin kind of background is going to be putting out some really stellar stuff.
Yeah,
Quality is the key.
He knows what he's doing with fish. He took a lot of experience learning with me and under Eric, and has propelled that through his career. So I'm very, very proud of him. I'm very happy.
I'm stoked to have him in town. That's exciting.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Cool.
He works too much, though.
Yeah, well.
Welcome to
Do
being
you
a
know
chef.
anything about that? Do you know anything about that, chef?
A little bit about that.
All right, well, let's get into that in a second. So you guys are doing an event when? Is that tonight or tomorrow?
Tonight. We're doing it tonight, Friday night.
It's a signature dinner?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and we have Joseph Wagner from, his father owns Camus. He owns Bell Glass Wineries, and we're doing wine pairings with that, and we're just going to have some fun.
Awesome. How many people's the dinner? Is it a big one? Or
no, we're come on, we're doing this smart.
Cap it at 40 people.
Exactly. I'm not even kidding.
Is it 40?
40 people.
Great minds think alike.
One long table out on the patio, and it's going to be,
It's going to be a beautiful day for it, too. It's gorgeous outside.
Oh, my gosh. And they have They have heaters, too.
Cool. So
last night it was a little chilly, and it was so warm. It was warmer, out on the patio than it was in the restaurant. It was so warm out there.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go there after this weekend, because I'm sure after tonight they're gonna get
go when you go when it's not crazy town.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get his digits from you so I could say, hey chef, can I get a table?
Yeah,
you can spot at the bar. Whatever. So that's happening tonight. Let's talk about the shift from the pandemic stuff.
Okay.
Because All Stars, our season 17 when we
Season
met
17, yes.
in LA, aired as the pandemic, like literally as the pandemic started, right?
It was
March, like all
it
the
was
shutdown and
March
stuff.
19th is when it aired, and like the 16th was like the major shutdown, the global shutdown.
Right.
Like,
I remember that. I was like, wow, what a bummer.
yeah.
And then I thought to myself, well, everybody's stuck at home. Maybe everybody's going to watch All Stars.
Wait, that's it was so sad because we were supposed to have that big the big party, and all of us were going to go out there and have a great reunion and make some awesome food. And so we missed out on that, and everybody was reeling, but we did get to get a lot more fans watching the show again and getting to know us. So I thought that was cool.
There was a ton of there's usually a lot of banter online and on like all the social media whenever like the episodes come out, people get all engaged, but it seemed like it was out of control this time. Like,
yeah.
Like people were like the Bravo community was like full on like commenting all the time, and like
everybody was into it.
Yeah.
But it was an all-star season too,
Yeah.
right? Like
it was such a great season.
Everybody already knows all of us, and so people were excited just to see us. So I think it was also really great that people had familiar faces to root for, and I think people were having a hard time deciding who to root for.
Yeah, it was an awesome season.
You know, I was having a hard time who to root for after I got kicked off.
Yeah. What number did you get kicked off? I don't remember. I can't remember where we were.
I was like 5, I think.
5. Okay. So you beat me. I did not have a great season. I think I was 3rd or 4th or something. I
was like shortly after you.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. We were like, I don't know.
I mean,
we were right now. We were like neck and neck, Jamie.
I know, right?
Neck and neck.
Well, the thing was like, I remember the first day. So we were at the observatory, right, and I knew that. I think I knew that Sasto was there.
Yeah.
Somehow, like the word had gotten to me through some leak or something.
Right.
And I had heard rumors that Kevin Gillespie was there.
Right.
But I didn't know for sure. That was kind of that wasn't corroborated information. And that was it.
I knew the entire cast.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Because you know all the inside people. You're
I'm
dialed.
I'm like who is coming? Who is going to be here?
I'm not going unless I know who the hell I'm going to be.
I want to know who is going to be on this. And yeah, I had the entire cast.
Okay. So you were already strategizing how you're going to take everybody down.
Yeah, but I don't know. Everybody's so freaking good. Like it doesn't matter. You have you do one tiny thing and you're gone.
I don't think people get that. Like I think a lot of viewers assume that like the best chef wins and that but in my experience, every day is like it's like a crapshoot. You never know. I mean, we even know what some of the challenges are going to be because it's like they recycle some of when I saw the mise en place like the first day I was like, fuck yes, I was like, this is my jam,
and I was like, oh shit,
I was like, I will tornado everything, I will that is my shit. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it through the first day.
My speed has definitely dialed back from where I used to be from my first season 6. Everybody, all right?
Yeah, that's way back. That was like they were just getting their feet under them.
Yeah, I think I was on my first day. I'm like, oh, isn't it pretty out here in the observatory? And I'm like, I fucking better move my ass.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I gotta keep.
And I'm like,
is that
I'm
a
last.
bird?
I'm like, I am last here. And I just had a conversation with Tom, Gail, and Padma at the table, and I'm like, I don't really have to finish this, right? I'm like, you can just go no, you're on a time limit. You do have to finish. And I'm like,
damn it. Okay.
I'm damaging my team here.
They put you on a time limit so they didn't waste all the film. They're paying the crew by the hour.
Exactly. Sorry,
you got to get moving.
They missed their lunch break.
That's too funny. So it is a crapshoot, right? It's like every day is a new day. You never know. I mean, Sasto went home the first day making a bread on the beach.
Which is so ridiculous.
I mean, he should have at least got a grace just for trying that move, You should have.
Yeah, Nancy Silverton came up to me the next day and was like, she's like, where's that guy? And I'm like, oh, he's gone. And she's like, what? She's like, his bread was really good. Yeah. And so And she's the bread baker.
Yeah, right?
And she's like, I can't believe he's gone. So it's even, cooking, as they say, is like so subjective too, right? And so even the judges that were there that day, not everybody agrees on who should go home and who should stay. Yeah. So it's a more complicated show than we all know about.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Inside that room when they're arguing about who's going to get the axe.
Oh, yeah. They battle.
Yeah. All right, so we meet at All Stars. Mm-hmm. What was our bond? I'm wondering if it's the same thing.
All right, well, I think there's two bonds with us. Okay. Number one, your last name Lynch is my middle name Lynch, so we're cousins. That was my initial bond. Yep. But then it was the Harlem Shake.
Yeah, the dance moves.
moves.
I was hoping you were going to say the same thing. Totally.
Of course.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore, by the way. I practiced only for the show, which I couldn't really do it then.
I don't even think I remember what it is. You got it?
No, I can't.
You can get up. Let me, give me.
I can't. I don't know.
You kind of taught it to me, and then Gigi jumped in, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, Gigi's a natural. Yeah,
he's like, what are you guys doing?
He had to put us in our place. I mean, I think his bones are made of spaghetti, the way he moves.
He
was like all over the place. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. So that was the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, because we were deciding, it was like the filming day of like what we were going to do when we were coming out. And you're like, I'm going to come out and do the Harlem Shake. And I'm like, no, you're not. I am. That's my move.
Yeah. Super funny.
Oh my gosh. That was a lot of fun.
Super fun. And, and that was the great thing about the All-Star season. I don't know how your first season was, but I was fucking terrified. I didn't know what I was doing.
I was scared. Number one, I did not even want to do it.
I didn't either.
Repair nominated me, made me audition, because I'm like, I'm not going on that show. I'm like, what do I want to go on that show for? I'm like, I'm happy in my career. And he's like, oh, Jennifer, huh? You're going. This is what I tell you. And I'm like, okay, chef. No problem.
Yes, chef.
And when I got the call that I was on, I went up into we were in the middle of service, because Bravo does not call you at normal chef time. It was like Friday night service, like we were getting crushed. I got the call on my kitchen phone, not my cell phone, like a kitchen line, and they're like, congratulations, Jen, you made it. And I'm like, I looked at the board, I'm like,
I'm gonna have to call you back.
I gotta go up to my office. And I went up to my office and I cried.
Oh, that's so awesome. I had a similar story. So I got hit up on it was like Facebook Messenger or something. I don't even do Facebook really.
Right.
And so I got a message from one of the casting producers or something, and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in going on Top Chef?" I was like, "Fuck no." I was like, I'm not a competition guy. I was like, I like watching this stuff. That's not my thing. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, we ate at your restaurant in Charleston. We really think you'd be great. All this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I called my business partners, and I was like, hey, I got this weird message. And for a minute, I thought that it was one of my business partners is our marketing director. He used to work in nightclubs in New York and stuff. So I thought he was fucking with me on, like, just like playing a trick on me. Yeah. So I called them up, and I was like, I got this kind of weird message on like whatever on Facebook. And from Top Chef, he's like, "Oh no, that wasn't me. You got to do it, bro." He's like, you got to do it." And that's how he talks. And then, and so I was like, "All right." So I responded to it. And I was just like, "Yeah, maybe I'll do it, whatever." And I kept going back to them, and I said, "Guys, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't want to put myself out there." I was getting all like chefy, ego nervous. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck up on TV." Right, and then you're gonna be looked down upon by your peers. Right, it was gonna be like, "Oh, you're a sellout. You're whatever." And so I really put up a lot of resistance, and they were like, "Well, just do the interview thing, right? Like do the video, like talk to them on the phone or whatever." And I was like, "All right, fine." I figured there was hundreds and thousands of people, which there are. Yeah, which I didn't even know that. I was like, "There's got to be millions of people doing this. I'm not gonna get through." Right. So I just did the thing, and then I got the call later, and they're like, "All right, dude, you're doing it. Are you ready?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was like, "Oh no." And I was gonna call my partners. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Maybe I should back out. And they're like, oh no, there's no backing out. Yeah. Like if you back out on Top Chef, you're done. Right. Because nobody will call you again. Exactly. Like you're off the queue. Right. So I was like, all right, cool. So I had to psych myself up and do it. What a wild ride. But All Stars was so much fun. It was amazing. Like coming back the second time with zero expectations. Yes. Knowing that like You probably aren't going to win, right? You're like, I probably won't win, but I'll have fun.
I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna meet some other chefs that like you haven't met, and the experience is freaking cool. Like you do all these crazy challenges that you know are not realistic.
They're made to be wacky.
Nothing that you would do in real life. So like you go into it with a different point of view, right? Like I'm like I still get nervous, like, but I'm just like, well, if I don't win, like, whatever. Yeah. I still want to go and like have fun and like get out there again and just, you know, I don't know, meet some really cool stars. We met some cool stars. Like,
did I meet cool stars? Yeah. I mean, that first table.
Oh my God.
Was like we're all like heroes.
I know. All like, the chefs. Like,
yeah. Like that was a. And I think there's a lot of comments about this too. Like that was a finale table.
That was
like the first day on the beach. I was like, "Holy shit, these guys are all like legends."
Yeah,
and we're like cooking in the sandy beach. Like this is not going to go well. You know what I mean? Like there's no way they're not going to get grit. on this table.
There is definitely some extra crunch and texture on the dishes.
Yeah. I was going for that texture.
What's the element on there? What was that crunch that I got? Oh, there was sand. It was LA sand from the beach, you know. I was
going for the terroir of
I added a couple little spices in there. Did you get that?
Yeah, that's too funny. So yeah, Top Chef's the shit. Super fun. I think that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
Is meeting everybody and building those kind of that
and getting the bond, right? Like I mean, once you go on, you're automatically family, right? Yep. Just everybody that goes on, I'll reach out to people and be like, hey, you're doing great. Like, welcome to the family. You need anything ever? Like, you come to Philly, hit me up for sure. Like, I'll take you out. We'll get coffee. I'll tell you where to go. Anything. So.
What's your craziest Top Chef family story? Post. It could be after your first season or after the last one. Like where like random.
There's lots of really crazy nights that have happened because I've done so many events, right? Like I've been with them since 2010 and it's 22 already. But I would say when I went on to the first All-Star season that I did and the finale was in the Bahamas.
Nice.
They brought everybody back. And so you know how at the end, like they pick the chefs in the end pick like who's going to be on their team and be their sous chefs, the knife draw. Well, we had to all do a dish, and they had to blind taste test them, and then they picked the dish that they liked the most,
not knowing who was who.
Oh,
that's cool.
And so we were in the Bahamas, and everybody thought I would do seafood. Well, I didn't do seafood because number one, we all were planning to like not get picked because we wanted to go out and party.
Yeah, you're like, please don't pick me. I don't want to film. I want to hang out.
Yes, because we're jerks. And so like, and Spike was like leading the charge. Like we already had wave runners like rent it. Like we had our
all the thing was lined up.
Whole day planned because they're like, if you don't get picked, like you're done filming for the day. And Spike got picked, and he was so mad.
Like,
but we all went out. We went to the clubs. We were like dancing, drinking too much, and at one point, Angelo. This is like my favorite story. Angela's dancing. We're all like, we have bottles of water and we're on the like dance floor, and he picks up a bottle of water, full bottle of water, takes his shirt off and pours it on top of him, and it was just like the rain, and we all just lost it, and we got kicked out of the club. Me, Casey, like Angelo, it was like insane. I
can totally imagine that. Oh. I can imagine him doing something like that, and that looks ridiculous in my mind.
Oh yeah, and now guess what? Like I don't drink anymore. Yeah. Angela doesn't drink anymore. Like
no, I don't think anybody. Like everybody's like sobering up. They're like, wow, what a mess.
What did we do? Yeah. How did we survive this long?
So check out this story. So I recently did my first sailing trip.
Yeah.
In open ocean, and I sailed on a friend's boat from here to the Bahamas.
Okay.
It took us 4 days.
Oh, another Bahamas story.
A Bahama story.
So funny.
And it's also a Top Chef story.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
So I get to and this was like a month or two ago.
Okay.
In January. So I get to the Bahamas. We get like the sail was amazing. I was like, "Wow, this is so crazy!" Like whatever. And so we get there. We're like, we eat, we sleep, and then I'm like hanging out at the marina.
Right.
And Kelsey.
Yes.
Is there. With her husband. They had just come in on some other boat, and they were doing some like Top Chef dinner or something, and so I didn't even see her. I was
Right.
just walking like to the bathroom to take a shower or something.
Right.
And her husband, like, who I've never met, comes out of like the bar and is like, "Hey, you're from Top Chef." He's like, I'm Kelsey. I'm Kelsey's husband. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I was like, I'm not getting picked. They're like, this isn't like a
Were
quick
you at Marcus Samuelson's restaurant?
No, we're just like on the dock, literally, like in a marina.
Right. Oh my God.
And I was like, this is so crazy. He's like, yeah, we're in town for like a weekend. We're going to this island where we were going. And I was like,
no way.
I was like, this is too bizarre. I was like,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll cross paths or
Yeah.
whatever. So it is a small world. It's a small family. Super bizarre.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So let's talk about what you're up to now. Because
Okay.
you're doing some really cool things. Your Instagram is out of control.
Well, thank you. It's a lot of work, and it's not only me that's doing it. Like, I have my partner, Billy, who is my life partner.
Over
but
here.
Over
He's
here.
right over here.
He's with the camera in his face right now. He's become like the creative director in our company, Couture Cuisine, which is a culinary experience company where we learned how to do filming. We were living in DC when the pandemic hit, and we moved back to Philly, into a warehouse space, built a studio. And now we're doing like virtual classes. We're doing recordings, like everything. Everything is content driven, right?
Yeah.
And we're starting to do like high-end private dinners in our studio as well, and traveling and all of that fun stuff that comes with our lives. But content, being on multiple different streaming platforms and learning how to do all that has been crazy hard. And Billy has been great at it. He's now like a tech guy. He's formerly a chef, and now he's everything.
Billy, are you not a chef anymore? He's always a chef.
You're always a
yeah,
chef. You're always a chef. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
that's nonstop. But he's taken on a lot of like the tech part of like the editing, the music, like all that stuff.
Editing, lighting, audio, right? So like, and we're constantly creating recipes for all of the classes that we're doing, and then you have to do like the newsletters, the email blast.
You have a
the
Patreon
photos,
page.
Patreon.
How's that doing? Is that pretty good or?
Patreon's great. You know, it's all about creating the community, and with the Patreon, we have a Discord channel associated with that, and then on our business account on Instagram, on EatCCC, we have everybody like as close friends. So if you're a Patreon, like you get all these like behind the scenes footage. Like I was putting up a bunch of stuff yesterday for the Charleston Food and Wine. But if you are a patron and were on my like close friends list, then you like saw like 1,000 photos. You saw food. You saw like
all the stuff.
You behind the scenes stuff, right? Like
not just the stuff that you select for your platforms or whatever.
Right. You're seeing like the unperfect pictures. You're seeing everything that's going on, which is really kind of cool. Like you're like right there with me, and
How do you have a solid like following on that Patreon? Like how many? I guess what I'm asking is like how are people super into like having that behind the scenes? Like
people love the behind the scenes stuff. People actually really want to learn, and then there's people that are on there just to support me, right? And just because they're
like your fans that are just like whatever you do, I'm on here for you.
Right. There's some people that just want to support. And they might show up to one class out of the like 50 that I do a year, right? Just because they're just like, we just like you. We want you to do good, and
cool.
Here, here's our membership, and that's really like blows my mind, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the people that are buying all of the merchandise and wanting like the kitchen kits and the hats and the shirts and everything that comes along with it. And there's different tiers, right? So we have 3 tiers. We have a foodie enthusiast, which is $3 a month. We have the student level, and then we have the pro level. And so each tier has different perks. You get different access points to each one, but everybody gets the Discord. Everybody gets, conversations with me. Like I'll sit there and like take a picture of my coffee and be like, this is what I'm having for breakfast today. But everybody throws in like what they're making. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be what I taught them or a recipe of mine. It's what they're making. And what's great is not only is it me answering questions, it's them talking to each other,
right? The community, like everybody's engaged. It's not just it's the Carol show. Right. Right? But everybody's engaged and has a voice in it and gets to participate.
Exactly, and you can be as much into it as not. Like, and so like it's really cool seeing what people are making at home.
Yeah.
And like being like, hey, how do I sear this fish? Or what? I just went and bought a prime rib for the first time. What the hell do I do with it? How do I cook it? What's the best way? Like, what seasoning do you have? What spice should I put on it?
How active are you at like chatting with people?
All the time. Literally all the time.
So do you have like a special like thread or something for like Patreons or people that are in that group that you can like, they can shoot you a message and then whenever you get it, you're like, hey, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like literally people, I'm on everything. Like people will DM me, I'll answer on Instagram, but Discord is really like the spot for the Carroll crew.
Gotcha.
Like that's, you can direct message me there, you can throw it in the chat, like everything. So like we're answering questions all the time.
Are they called the Carroll crew?
Carroll crew.
Do they have T-shirts, like band shirts?
Yeah, we
Billy,
should.
Billy, we need some. We need to get some band shirts made, please. I want one.
I mean, Billy's wearing right now. Billy has an Eat CCC hat on right now.
Yeah, we'll get. We're gonna have to.
We got a bunch. We got a bunch of stuff, and then we got the love
on
the other side.
Messages of positivity.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that. So you still have the restaurant in Philly.
Yep.
Survived the pandemic.
Yes.
Knock on wood. That's awesome.
Like,
hopefully, it will continue.
Spice Finch. Yes.
Yeah, Spice Finch. I have not been there yet. I will go. You
just got to get up to Philly.
I will. Now that we can travel again.
I know.
I'll definitely make it. But from the pandemic, after all the shutdowns, All Stars launches, you've got your kind of social project, right? CCC,
yes,
because I can't pronounce.
I know, it's a
Carroll
tongue twister.
Couture
Cuisine, yes.
And so do you start at that point? Do you start to focus on this side project? Was this like your kind of saving grace for this whole like, what am I going to do with my time? How am I going to stay connected?
That was it. Like, how do you stay connected to everybody, right? Because being in the hospitality industry and being in your restaurants, you're so used to seeing people, touching people, talking to people, and not only your guests but your team, right?
Oh, big
and
time.
Like, that's your family. That's our everyday life because we work so much. That is what
you spend so much time
like,
together.
You just love each other, and through the good and the bad. But you're just always surrounded by people. There's that whole social aspect to hospitality.
Yep.
And so the pandemic, we were like, how do we stay in touch? Yeah. What do we do? And at first, like I think everybody was scrambling trying to find the answer, and everybody was just throwing everything up on Instagram. And then one of Billy's friends was like, hey, like, take a step back, figure out what you want to do, focus, get your content together, and then, like, figure out how you can make it work for you and for your fans, and then get your process going and move forward. And so that's when we looked into Patreon, and that's when we got to subscription base, so we could build up that community, we could get some financial like backing for things like that. And then we got into the virtual classes, and all throughout this we're like, okay, at first we're like, all right, we're doing iPhones, right,
yeah, and
then we had like GoPros, and then we're like computer, like everyone starts off with like your computer on a stack of books, right?
Like I gotta get the angle just right on my camera,
and you're like in the lighting and like figuring out which like how to set up. And so during the whole thing we bought cameras, upgraded microphones multiple times, lighting, like you buy like the wrong lights, and then like figuring it out. And in the warehouse that we're like, it's a ton of windows, which is amazing, but the light changes throughout the day. And so if you're like,
if you're a little late to the party getting that plate up, you got to get some lighting on it,
So it's
or you wait for golden hour for the plate up. You have to time your
right, more, gosh. And so it's
so
like
much to think
blackout curtains, so you can have consistent lighting too. No matter, like we've done so many things, and
so your studio is in the warehouse where you guys live too. Right. It's like your flat kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And so there's kind of no escape, and
you guys work together.
We work together. We live together. We have rabbits together.
Rabbits? Why rabbits?
Because I love rabbits, and I always had like a stuffed rabbit when I was a kid. Like my dad brought it back home from like a rabbit when I was a kid when he was away, and I just always loved them, and so I wanted a rabbit. as an easy pet because I'm like, I love dogs. I grew up with dogs.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't have time for a dog. I travel too much. They're too hard to take care of, this and that. I'm like, rabbit's easy, no problem.
Yeah. Sucker.
Yeah. You're saying no.
Yeah.
They bite everything. So we started off with one.
Okay.
And then we went to two.
Because it was like lonely?
Yeah, you have to bond them, but Billy tried to convince his chef to get one for his son, so Billy bought one. I think it was a whole big thing to just get another one.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a ruse.
Yeah. Well, rabbits do what rabbits do, and then they had babies.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
So that's a legit thing. So now you have.
So then we had we were up to 5, and we gave some away. I couldn't give them all away, and then we were back down to 2.
I'm afraid that I would want to eat them.
Yeah.
I love rabbit. I'd be like, wow, you look super tasty.
Maybe if you get irritated because everywhere you look, you're just covered in fur because they shed so much.
Do they?
They eat every single cord. They eat your baseboards. They're not easy animals to take care
So you got
of.
suckered into. You're like, oh,
they're
whoops.
so cute.
Yeah, they are cute.
They're
what kind of bunnies are they? They're like the floppy-eared ones, or the pointy-eared ones?
We have 2.
That's all I know, by the way. Floppy ears or pointy ears?
Yeah, we have dwarfs. We have 1 Holland lap dwarf and then 2 mini dwarfs. So 2 tiny little guys that are a pound, and then little Joni, who's the biggest of all, is probably she's she loves to eat. She's probably 4 or 5 pounds, but yeah,
that's a good size for eating.
Yeah,
I say my chef cat. I can't take my chef hat off. I'm like 5 pounds. That's good. That's a good size. We can raise that up. No problem.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, little Joni, Pickle, and Turkey are their names.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah.
So it's the 2 of you, your studio, and the rabbit. What's a herd of how many? What's a bunch of rabbits called? Because you have a bunch now. A flock? That's not a flock.
Freaking!
A pod?
I don't. They are called something, and I don't.
Pack.
I don't know.
Anyways,
a gaggle. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. All you need to know is that you need about 1,000 lint rollers everywhere.
Okay. Gotcha.
At all times.
So guys, you can join Jen's Patreon and ask questions about rabbit care, recipes, plating techniques.
Yes.
She's got it all.
Yes, exactly.
So you really started focusing on
the whole digital world,
yeah.
right? And that was our connection to the outside world.
At what point were you sold on? You were like, hey, you know what? Let's invest in this. Let's spend a lot of time on it.
I think
because it seems like you're really into it now. You guys are doing an awesome job.
We're into it. We're going hard into it. We're not stopping.
Yeah.
And I love it. It is a lot of work. I think it was probably after a couple of months of being like, okay, this is fun, but it's also really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's
and
really
the learning
stressful.
curve had to be pretty steep.
Intense. There's lots of YouTube. There's lots of talking to each other. I mean, you can go back just over the past year and watch one of our first videos or one of our first classes to now to seeing where we are, and there's so much further there where we have to go, right?
Right, yeah. And it's like cooking. It never stops. You're like, oh wait, we could do that. Let's try.
Right. As soon as you're like, okay, this looks great, and then you look at it 2 months later and you're like, that was not so great, right?
Yeah,
I could have been better this way, and it's like you with the podcast, right? Learning how to interview and to talk and you just get better and better at it.
You get more comfortable. Yeah, it becomes muscle memory and stuff like that. So, are you inspired by this thing now? Is this give you energy and focus and drive to do new stuff?
Yeah, because there's constant creation going on, and it's a different kind of creation. It's a different kind of creation for being in a restaurant, right?
So running a shift and getting ready for a service,
right? And so it was developing a whole team too. So it's like, all right, Billy, what does your role become? What else do I need? I need a web developer. I need a brand designer and marketer with me. I need my event director, coordinator. And then when we're doing all of these events, we're starting to do live and streamed events at the same time. So now we're inviting people into the classes And so we have a team there that's like greeting you and like bringing you drinks and having like food for you.
Cool.
Almost like below deck, right?
Yeah.
When, like, you see
Yeah, I like how you fold that in.
Right?
Let's get on that.
Right? Like you see like the guests arrive and they're like handed a tray of like champagne and they're like, okay, Kate, your steward is going to give you a tour of the boat. So that's kind of what happens at our studio.
Nice.
It's like, oh, welcome to the studio. I'll go and open the door and say, come on up. And then my host will be like, here's your drink. Take them all around. Jen's getting ready for her class. You know,
So
you
you're
can
like
watch
getting
her
prepped
run
and
lines.
getting organized.
Yeah.
How many of the people that attend these events do you know or are strangers?
So at first it was all friends at first because we went at like proof of concept. We wanted
test it out,
right?
see
Almost
how...
like a soft opening for a restaurant, right? See how it would work. See where they're most comfortable. See how I'm most comfortable. Like how much do I get people involved? Because
it's nice to mess up in front of your friends then.
Yeah,
paying guests.
yeah, exactly. So we did a whole bunch, and like a lot of our friends are experts on things, so like they could add really great insight into the things that I was cooking. So that was fun. But now it's just like, hey, everybody's welcome. Strangers are coming in. People that want those seats are coming in from out of Philly just for them. So it's been
so
really
you get people
cool.
traveling in like for an event or whatever, doing a weekend, and then they pick up an event as part of their say. That's super cool.
Yeah.
What's it like having strangers in your space? I feel like that's got to be a little. You don't seem like a super like extroverted person, from what I gather.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. But
no, because it's funny. Like I if I didn't have to speak all day, I could just be quiet and like work and do my thing and be fine with it. And obviously when people come over, like I like going out, I like being social, but I'm also like, all right, I'm good. Like I'm gonna
you good? Because I'm good.
I'm gonna go like back here. But when people come over and into my personal space, right, it was a little like, what do we do? Like how do we
manage this or set the,
and how do we make it safe and secure for me to feel that way, and for like the guests to feel that way too, because it can be weird. There's a lot of a lot of not so great people out there. So what do you do to kind of to address that? Like what to make you feel like it's a safe environment? There's security cameras and I don't know.
You guys got some serious lockdown on your on your flat. I'm like,
well, I am a chef, so I have lots of weapons around me to protect myself. I think it's just like life. You have to be aware. Like anything can happen anywhere. So I think that was like one thing. I'm like, well, we're either going to do it or we're not going to do it. Yeah. And for now, we're doing it, and we're hoping that everybody's in a nice mindset.
I imagine most people that want to do something like that are positive people that want to share an experience and want to get to know you. You know, like they see you on Bravo, and they they see your I don't want to use the word character because I don't think Bravo doesn't really do that. They don't. You get edited away. Like it's not always, you don't see everything about you or really get to know you.
But it's still like it's still a version of you that people see. It's still pretty authentic what people see. Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things of why like people feel like they know us on the street, right? Yeah. And so like,
do you get that a lot?
Yeah. I think the weird thing is when people like are trying to, they're like, we work together, and I'm always like, did we? And and then you say no to the wrong person. They're like, yeah, I worked for you for like 5 years, and you're like, remember I worked saute at whatever, and you're like, oh, God dang it, you're right. Sorry. But then I'm like, we didn't work together. We didn't go to high school together.
Yeah. You did not babysit me when.
Nope. All of them and above. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't even know. So people get to come into like my personal space, which is really cool because a restaurant is different, right?
Totally.
It still is our personal space, but it's open to everybody. This is not like, this is very exclusive. And
Yeah.
there's not that many seats offered. So
Yeah. How many seats do you guys offer when you do an event?
2.
2?
2.
Okay, so I had like in my head, I was thinking, you know, you got 10 or 15 people doing this cooking class thing in your in your flat.
We're doing 2 right now.
Okay,
But
so
we
it's
do,
super intimate
Yeah.
and like, you know, one-on-one-y kind of deal.
Right, but we do have a large dinner table that seats 12, and we're doing dinners there too. So people will come and be like, "Well, I want to come back, and I want like my friends to experience this."
Bring do like a girls' night or something.
And I'm like, "Cool, you see that table? You can buy that whole table.
Yeah,
let's do it."
Cool.
And so we're doing that, and we're actually doing a big cooking competition in the studio on next week on like Tuesday or something like that. And so I'm setting up little like kitchens, Top Chef style.
Yeah.
And then people are they're gonna break down into teams, compete, and then we're all sitting down to dinner.
That's cool.
So it's
you'll have your guests do that? Like they'll have to they're gonna get put through the ringer?
Yeah, they're
sign those waivers.
Already got the waiver. I'm like, you
Is
burn
Billy
yourself,
doing
you
the
cut
legal
yourself.
for you guys too?
No, that's for real. I got it for real, Laura. I got a practiced, experienced lawyer. We paid for that because you gotta protect yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're doing a cheesesteak competition because they're out of towners and they're like, we want to do a cheesesteak.
I would crush that. I would crush that. So, oh man.
What would you do for a cheesesteak?
Well, it depends on what's in the what are my ingredients. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
So there's like a little trivia before, and so there's each team will have a buzzer or whatever, and they have to ring in, and the winner of each answer can either give any other team, one of the other teams, a perk or a disadvantage. Or they can take a perk or they can give a disadvantage.
Nice.
And so it's
I like it, a little strategy game.
It's like if one of the perks is you can pick your bread, right? So like I'm like they're not going to hear this because it's going to air after the competition. And so like one is like, all right, you have to have like the bread of Philly, like this like seeded beautiful Italian roll.
Yep.
The next is gonna be like an like hoagie roll that like
whole grain, like you have like a whole grain,
and then the other's like
sandwich slice.
and then the other's a hot dog roll, like so it's like you get to pick like what you want to give to like everybody, and then there's like choice of cheeses, and it's like there's lots of like weird like funny twists. So
like choice of weird cheese. You get blue cheese.
That is one of the cheeses. I like it's like American blue cheese and cheese whiz.
Oh, it's white American. Like white American. I don't think there's anything else you can use.
That's what I get on my cheesesteak.
Yeah, okay.
I get American with onions.
Yeah, we bring in white American to my restaurants.
Yeah.
For grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yes.
For us.
Yes.
Like and it's for the kids too. It's for the kids too. Kids menu.
What's wrong with chefs? Like we eat grilled cheese sandwiches. Kevin from King's Tide was like, I'm like, where do you eat? He's like, I work too much. I eat cheese sandwiches. And I start laughing. I'm like, I literally ate a freaking cheese sandwich last night before I went to bed before the airplane. I'm like, white bread, cheese in the toaster oven. I smashed it together and like shoved it in my face because I was like so tired. I'm like,
what kind of heathen are you? Put it in the toaster oven? The toaster oven? Yeah. I mean, at least butter the bread and try to griddle it. I mean, come on.
No. At least it wasn't like a jail cheese sandwich, right? Just my bread with like one piece of cheese.
Cold, smashed together.
And you like smash it.
This is my panini press. Squeeze it together. That's funny. I mean, I guess like some young cook, like my cooks get like totally like blown away when I'm like I come into the restaurant and I'll start making a grilled cheese and they're like, "Oh, chef, what are you making?" I'm like, "A grilled cheese." They're like, "Really?" Like, "What for?" I was like, "For lunch."
For lunch.
Yeah, this is what I eat. And they're like, "Oh yeah, how do you like it?" I'm like, "White bread, butter, like I put a little salt on it." Yeah, that's it. Like if I'm feeling feisty, I'll dip it in ketchup. Like if I feel like I need some veggies,
I do a ketchup mustard mix. Like if I'm making like a real grilled cheese, then Oh,
you put some condiments on there.
I do ketchup, mustard. No, but I dip.
Okay, it's not on the sandwich.
Dip, no, and it's just I butter both sides of the bread and I toast both sides of the bread
before you build a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
so I toast. So I do a shit ton of butter, and I get it toasted, and then I flip it and butter it on either side. And then I put the cheese on while it's in the pan cooking, and I put it together. And
dude, I'm gonna try that today.
Lots of butter, lots of toast, toast it nicely on each side.
I like your technique.
It's good.
Yeah, I would like for you to post that on your Instagram, please.
No problem.
Yeah, and I'm gonna sign up for Patreon so I can get the recipe. That's awesome. Grilled cheeses. Look where we went with that.
I know.
We ended up on grilled cheeses for like 15 minutes. All right, I want to talk about CCC.
Yes.
This is your baby now.
This is my baby.
Do you like it better than restaurants? Kitchen work? Are you more inspired doing this new phase of your stuff?
I mean, it's a whole different animal in itself. I love restaurants still. I think restaurants, they're so hard.
Yeah.
They're so hard.
Especially right now. Like there's so much weird
it's
stuff going
so
on.
difficult. And I think, I've been in restaurants for so long, so this is new. This is exciting. Every restaurant is new and exciting when you build a new one and you build the team and everything changes and can be so different every day. But this is like all
It's new content for you too.
It's new content. It's like driven 1,000% by me and like Billy, basically, right? Like just putting everything together. Like I can't do everything by myself. And just like a restaurant, you can't do everything by yourself. But it's a whole new world. Yeah. It's a whole new world that I've never thought that I would really get into.
How much of what you guys are doing right now, as far as like your content, what you're cooking, what you're posting, is what you want to do, and how much of it is like what you think you need to do, like what people want to see, and like are you plagued by that kind of balance?
That is a great question, and you know what, it is, because I'll like throw like lots of polls out there of like, what do you want to learn? What do you want to learn how to cook, to see what my fan base wants to learn, because it's not all about me, right? It's about what they want, and then it gets like my spin on it. And a lot of it is there's people at home that don't know how to cook anything at all.
That's why you gotta post that grilled cheese,
right? Like
show people how to do it proper.
Literally anything, and what we think is so easy and just natural for us is mind blowing to them. Like literally cutting a lemon and cutting like the top off and like popping the seeds out is like mind blowing. People are like, "What did you just do?
Well, what just happened?
How did you take the seeds out of that?" And I'm like, hold on, let me do it really slow for you." And those little tiny techniques and kitchen like tips and tricks, I think, are really exciting to people at home, and they're all just natural to us. Like,
we've been doing these things for so long that it's just like second nature,
right?
But you don't realize that for somebody who doesn't know how to do it or has never seen it before, those little techniques can change the game for them when they approach their everyday stuff. Right? Like they're like, "Oh, I never realized I could do that. Now I can apply that to how I do my casserole or my thing or whatever else they do." And it's like, that's super fun.
Having Billy's a chef, so like it's also ingrained in him. So these things are secondhand to him. But when my event coordinator Carrie is there, like she watches and she's just like, holy crap. And so she'll point out things that I'm missing, that I'm not even thinking about, which is great. But like back to the question, yes, I'm going after what my subscribers want, what my fans want, and I'm building that, but I'm also doing it and how I would do it and how I would simplify it, but also like adding my spice to it, like adding some sort of chefy technique or addition that they wouldn't think of at home. So it feels a little bit more special, but it's still really simple for them to execute, because I want people to succeed. I don't want people to like do a recipe and get, upset that they failed. And even if they do it, one time, you fail at it, and that's how you learn. You get better. Do you have
a bloopers or a be-real thing?
Yeah, there's so much stuff that goes wrong all the time.
But do you have access? Do people have access to it? Because I would sign up just for that. I just want to see all the because I fuck up all the time.
We started to do it, and we didn't ever post it, right?
It happens every stream. I mess up something.
Yeah. So there's a lot of content.
So it's like, I like in live classes, like shit goes wrong. Like you burn stuff, you start talking, like I don't like. I'll pull the lid off a pot and it'll steam up the above camera. And like for tech issues, right? Like you get all set up and you have audio ready and you have everything ready to go, and then as soon as you hit live, then nothing works, right? Audio doesn't work. Like how many times? Like three times.
Like, that's it.
We bounce back.
Yeah. One time we were like, we're like, all right, listen, everybody, we have to completely go, and we're gonna have to re-sign back off.
Yeah.
And it's just
so Billy just said, in case they couldn't hear, that you guys bounced back, and I thought that made me think of something that, as chefs in restaurant, like we all came up in restaurants,
right.
you learn to like deal with shit just going haywire.
Yeah.
And so that has to come in handy when things get wacky. You don't do you freak out, or are you like, oh shit, or are you just kind of like, hey, this is how we're gonna handle this. We're gonna shift gears and do this and that.
Right. And you know what's kind of
that's
cool
good for
too,
people to see that.
I was gonna say, when I mess up like on screen, and I'm just like, oh well, whatever, this is how I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
And if it's like gone, you'd be like, okay, start over. Right.
Yeah.
There's things
cut
that you
some
have
more, cut
to
some
start
more
over.
mirepoix. Like,
right.
let's
like,
go.
Take a second and start over with that, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And like, don't get down on yourself. But when you have a problem and then you fix it, like if you break a sauce, how do you fix it in the moment? Like, what do you do? And you show everybody at home, and they're like, whoa,
you just like blew my mind with that
Right.
magic, your
Exactly.
wizardry. Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
But I think it's cool to show people that stuff, because it will give them confidence. That,
Right.
oh, it happens to Jen, so like I can
Exactly.
get back over this. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. We're not perfect.
No,
we're
far from it.
We are people. We're chefs. We mess up.
We are perfect in our imperfection.
Exactly.
Yeah, we are a crazy bunch. That's for sure. You mentioned that you guys are going to start doing some bigger kind of events out of the space.
So we used to do, we used to do big corporate events and weddings and things like that. But now I'm really focused on just more of like the intimate dinner parties of, I like my sweet spot max at like 20 people max. And that is because that gives me a chance to talk to everybody, interact a little bit more, which I really feel is an important part of the experience.
Totally.
And
I think people are like craving that right now.
Yeah.
Because I talked about this a little. I don't know who I was talking to. Maybe my business partner. But I feel that there is a trauma that's been done to the social fabric of our people, and I think people are craving that like connection. Even though we're traveling again, people are, you're public. There's like this 2 years. I mean, was just,
it's huge,
like scrapped basically. So people
Right.
are like really needing that, attention kind of thing. And that's awesome that you're going to, give that to people.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to do, traveling again. The fact that festivals are coming back strong. We were in Daytona not too long ago, and that was the first time I was around 260,000 people ever in my life. Not
Holy
forget
shit.
about pandemic, but
Yeah,
ever.
that's
I've
a lot.
never been around
That's
that
a lot.
many
That's a lot of people
in my life.
Holy
it was
smokes.
just like
Was that at the race?
The Daytona 500. Yeah, I was
Were
there.
you just attending it, or were you doing an
I
event?
was there with the beef board, and
Okay.
we did a cooking competition, which I won.
My girl.
Yo,
Get
screw
it.
Top Chef.
Yeah,
I'm gonna win the beef competition. All right.
At the Daytona. Wow.
Yeah. So that
Was
that
was that a
really
live competition
It was
in front of all those people?
It wasn't on Sunday race day.
Okay, it was like
the
preview day or whatever.
So the whole week is all different races.
Yeah.
And so it was on Friday or Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were still thousands of people there.
I remember.
So-
That reminded me. That's a lot of people, man. That would freak me out.
Yeah, but
Big time.
But as soon as you get into cooking, it doesn't matter. You just get into your zone and you just start cooking.
So 3 years ago, the last time that they had the Charleston Wine and Food Festival, they had a Top Chef quickfire thing.
Right.
And it was a bunch of us that had been on.
Right.
Obviously, I was here, so I did it. I think Dale was on it. Maybe
Oh,
there was a bunch of
character,
there's a bunch of people that I didn't. We weren't on the same seasons and
Right.
stuff, and they did like a quick fire. It was a mise en place race. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it.
Right.
So I get up there, and I think I was like the first one in the relay, and I had to peel and brunoise like 5
17
pounds.
onions.
Yeah, like 5 pounds of onions or
Right.
something, and I literally cut my thumb off, like the fingertip off, the first cutting the skin off of the first onion, and
my God.
literally blood is squirting on my apron, and I just I'm peeling these onions, blood's spraying on my face, and the people in the front of the crowd were like, what? It was like a horror show. Yeah, they were like, what the? And I just kept going, and we ended up winning. I didn't
like,
care. Oh yeah,
I'm a chef. No one's eating this.
I am brunoising the onions, and they're turning pink.
Oh my god!
And I think I don't know who the judge was. I thought it was like Emerald or somebody like was over there, and he's like looking at my pile of onions, just like, we're not gonna eat that, are we? And I was like, oh no. I was like, this is built for speed. Built for speed, chef.
Crap.
Yeah, I just kept going. I was like, whatever. They're like, do you need a medic? I was like, no.
No.
I'm not cooking with this.
No. The juice of the onions is cleaning and burning my gut right
it's
now.
It's totally sanitized right now.
And it is giving me extra energy to keep going.
Yeah, so I would not want to do that in front of thousands of people. There's maybe like 200 people there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, horror show.
And I have Band-Aids like on at my like cooking like station for our classes.
Oh, do you have your
like,
little med kit there for?
Yeah, like.
Have you had one of those?
No.
You're pretty
I'm like
good.
great. I'm like
yeah, knock on wood.
knock on wood, bad. But I'm like, yeah, if you do, but that's also part of it, right? People cut themselves in that.
Billy, have you learned how to stitch up wounds yet?
Not yet.
Okay, let's put that on the list of traits that we got to check off.
No, we got gorilla glue,
super glue.
and there's electrical tape everywhere,
Yeah,
like
anybody
gaff
could use.
tape. So that would just be like the quick fix for like anything for the cooking show. I'd be like, okay, and on with this. Okay, great.
Yeah. So what's going to be next for you? Where would you like to see all this stuff go? What's the like? Is there an end? Is there a direction you'd like to end up in, or?
Right now, like, we're just trying to grow the community, and we're getting into more and more different, like, streaming places. Like, we're on our own. We're on Crowdcast, and we're on Tastemade, and we're looking at everybody else that's doing chef streaming things. Like, I think you were saying you were talking to Joe. Mm-hmm. Joe Sasto is on every single streaming class thing ever. Like, I look at it and do research, and I'm like, oh, there's Joe. Oh, there's Joe. Oh, there's Joe.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I want to keep doing that. And maybe where does this all lead besides like building the community and getting more subscribers and getting partnerships with different brands and doing recipe developments for corporations and things like that. I think maybe it turns into being, producing shows where
cool.
I'm not necessarily the star. Maybe I'm behind the camera and doing, I have this idea. I want to produce a show, and hopefully somebody picks it up. We sell it somewhere. I think that would be a really cool place to end up. I don't know. It's
where does that come from? Do you think it's because the show like Top Chef has helped you kind of on your path and like being able to? Because
Top Chef, without Top Chef, right? When I didn't want to do it, but it changed my life, and it opened up so many doors, and it got me national recognition. It gave me the opportunity to travel. It gave me the opportunity to work with different brands that I never thought of, like all these corporations and their big corporate kitchens going in after like working in independent restaurants for so long and seeing how they do things is so interesting to me because it's new, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't agree with the way you do things here. Maybe I don't agree with this, but you can always learn something from that. And I think finding those things to constantly learn. I think that's what really drives me, is trying to like educate myself, because I read so much and I like just research and do everything. I love experiencing new things. And that's one of the main reasons why I started cooking, is because you can never, ever, ever not learn.
Yeah.
Like, never ever not learn.
I was talking to our food critic in Charlotte, which was really fun. It was like the second episode I think I did on the podcast, and it was a great conversation, because I had never even seen her before. And she'd reviewed all my restaurants and stuff, so it was a really cool conversation. And the thing that I learned throughout that conversation, we were talking about something, I had this realization that like I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I know a lot about like the food that I cook,
right?
But like what other people do, I don't know like anything about it. And like this ego kind of dissolves over time as you get older and you get more experience and you get more perspectives from different people. I think that's what I'm excited about the podcast for, is like getting that perspective, because it helps you realize that you really don't know a fraction of what you think you know.
Right.
And it opens you up to a lot to grow faster and better.
And one of the things that I'm doing is, and what I love doing, is mentoring, right? And teaching the new and up and coming generation about food, but also that there's also such a larger world out there to our industry besides just having a restaurant. Like, you can be a chef without having a restaurant. Like, so many of us are. And you can do so many different things in the food world without having your own restaurant.
Right.
And
you
so,
don't
like,
have to deal with that, like, financial burden. Like, trying to get a restaurant open is like...
all the red tape, everything that you have to go through, all just the money and just the slim margins, everything. So there's that, and like I'm a leader in a group in Philadelphia named the Sisterly Love. So, you know, Philly, brotherly love, right? So it's sisterly love. It's all women entrepreneurs, whether you are a leader in the industry and have been around for years and years and have experience, or you're just coming up and you're just trying to figure things out. And that has grown into such a great community, and we've done a lot of things over the year, and I've been immersing myself in all of these different groups to learn more, to teach more, to mentor, and to get into doing more charity stuff and just give back to the community in another way. Because as being a chef, you're a teacher, right? You're leading. You become their support system of your team. You become family. Like, for me, always being like, they'd be like, "Mom," and I'm like, "All right, I'm not your mom." I'm like, and I don't know how your mom treated you, but my mom was very like, I'm going to tell you what's going on, and I'm like, so if you need that from me, I'll give it to you, because that's the type of mom I am. I'm very honest and fair and disciplined, but I am also very like empathetic and soft and will take you in. And I think that's what being the leader now, like as are now, like have grown so far and are at the top of our profession and our tiers, like that we have to give back. And that is something that I love doing too. So maybe it goes into that whole route of just teaching and community that way.
Bringing up the next generation and keep moving kind of industry forward.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
sweet, dude. Well, listen, thanks for doing this. We've been chatting for an hour. I'm going to let you go.
An hour.
You
have to take me out sailing on this thing next time I'm down here.
Let's do it. Let's plan a trip.
I'm very, very excited for you and everything.
Thank you. I'm excited for you. Good luck at your event tonight.
Thank you.
If you guys have time, swing by one of the restaurants before you head to the airport or whatever. Okay. And we'll get some lunch in you or whatever.
That would be awesome.
Awesome. Love you, dude. Good to see you.
Thank you. So good to see you.
We'll do it again.